Welcome to Education Matters. This is your host, Mr. Kamambogwa, and I have a guest with me. Kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Kamau. My name is Samuel Muraya. I am trained as a teacher. I'm a teacher by profession. But has now come to be, I do consultancy. I've taught for a number of years, including out of the country, working with international schools. And when I came back, I felt I should assist other people. With the experience that I came along with, I thought I should share this with other people. So since the year 2010, I've been doing this. I've worked with the different schools in different parts of this country. And I would say that I just don't do it. I applied for it, and the Minister of Education has given me the authority.
What's the name of your consultancy?
My consultancy firm is called PACE Educational Consultant. PACE is an acronym for standing for Parenting, Character Education, and Education itself. That's how.
You're also a director of a private secondary school?
Yes, I am. Actually, I began a high school this year, the Hillside Boys High School in Githunguri. I was driven into doing this by the need I saw. I realized, especially in Kiambu County, we have very few boys' high school. I happen to be a product of one of the schools in Kiambu, though I come from Nyandarua. But I realized that boys are really are in need of a school where people can understand them, where people can really help them. In learning, we say it requires some form of hand-holding.
Okay. Now, thank you. So we have an experience, an old hand in education, and with him we'll be going through the topic of the role of parents and students in learning. You notice that we have left out the teacher because at this particular point in time, we are talking while the students are out on holiday. So I really want to hear where or what the parents need to do, or what the students himself needs to do to ensure running. And let's start off with a very simple question. What role does a student have in his or her own academic achievement?
Wow. Let's begin here. These four actors can't work without each other. We can't do without a teacher. We can't do without a parent. We can't do without the runner. We can't do without the society. So though we want to talk about students while they are on holiday, we cannot rule out the effect or the need for a teacher. In this I mean, what they are supposed to do today should be guided, should have been guided by the teachers when they were
while they were still in school. Right.
Because actually, we don't say they are on holiday per se. It's time for them to relax. But they need to keep on reminding themselves what they have learned, updating themselves, so that when they get to the to the coming term, they are still, in form and they can still go on. So when you ask me about the role of a learner in their achievement, I would say that their success almost entirely depend on them.
On themselves?
On themselves.
So it's not a question of how good the teachers are?
No. Let me put it well, the teacher is important. But for a student to succeed, they need to take the responsibility upon themselves to succeed.
What are some of the things that will actually, a student needs to notice that they need to take personal responsibility over this? And how do you show, how do you tell when a student is doing that, reading his own learning, or a student who is not?
Now, we have two levels of education in Kenya, and three for that matter. We have the primary, we have the high school, and the college. So those three cannot be the same. What is expected of a runner in primary school is not what is expected of the same when in high school and in college. So maybe unless we deal with the three of them differently, a primary school runner is different in this form. That they have not yet reached a point where they can basically make much of their own decisions. They'll need some kind of
hand-holding.
Yes.
Yes.
And during this time, especially during the holiday, it's important now that the parent take charge and guide them through a schedule. Something we call out of school schedule. Because basically a school is run through schedule. There is time for everything.
Put on the timetable with a bell to remind you.
And when a bell is rung, it makes some, it directs people. It's time now to go for break. It's time to go back to class. It's time to go for lunch. It's time to go home and all this. Now at home we may not have a bell and it can't apply. But a parent should also be informed in how.
Before we go to the parent, let us restrict ourselves to the behavior and the conduct of
that's where I'm headed to.
Yes.
That's where I'm headed to. And we talked about a primary school
runner.
Yes. It's the parent now to guide that kid on what to do, what, when. Time to pray, time to ride bicycle, time to revise, time to accomplish what they were given. That is how it will be done. But on the other hand, students need be informed on the reason as to why they are in school. Basically, a primary school may not really perceive life in future.
Let's take the instance of a secondary school student.
Okay, if we got there, this is a person who has now reached a point where they can really tell what they want in life. And what they want to become in life. And for you to enable them to learn, you need to tap into that. So that they do it now motivated by the desire to become what they want to become. So therefore, the role of a student here is to make a choice on what to do based on what they want to become and achieve in.
And that one now brings us the second question that I want us to address here. Does learning continue even during the school holidays? Does it and should it? And how do you ensure it does?
It should, but unfortunately, at times it doesn't. We have a misconception about holiday. Holiday is time to relax, but it's not time to keep books away and learning away. No, because learning is a process. You cannot stop at some point.
So in the ideal situation, what should happen?
In the ideal situation, a student should learn more of what he is supposed to have learned and review what they had learned and collect themselves where they went wrong. Here, let me put it this way. We talk of holiday assignment and all this. They are not meant to keep children busy, but they should be structured in a way that learner is supposed to learn what they did not really understand or what
during the last
during the last time. Because actually we say education is what remains after all what you have learned has been forgotten. Because we forget. So what remains after you have forgotten what you have learned,
that's education.
That is your level. That is how you have, that is your education. So because we are bound to forget as human beings, students should not be left idle. They should be left, they should be guided into.
So what are the things, therefore, that the students need to be doing to ensure that there's continuous learning, especially with specific regard to school holidays? What are these things, 1, 2, 3 things that a student should exhibit? And if he does not, then we can say actually he is not learning.
Yes. The desire to learn. Yes. And this will come from the learner's understanding the difference between these two. What to learn and how to learn. Unfortunately, our system, thank God now it is changing, has been exam-oriented, dominated by...
It focuses on what?
On exams, But I believe now with the new curriculum, we're going to see some changes.
Yes.
But what I wanted to say here is, a learner should actually be taught how to learn.
Yes.
When they learn how to learn, not as opposed to what to learn, learning becomes sweet and it becomes part of their life. It's a lifestyle. They go on learning. And will need to go through what they did last term, where they failed, revise, guided by the teacher. Though we said we are keeping the teacher out. The teacher should have, by now, sent the kid home or the student home with some guidance. This is what we learned last term. And this is how this is your proof of understanding through the results out of what you achieved in your exams. So I want you to go into this Now find answers to this and correct yourself.
Yes.
But besides that, then learn more about this.
Okay.
Okay. So that way you have led the learner into now digging more and understanding more. But remember, I said it must come from them first, and it will only come from them if they understand the difference.
From your experience as a teacher and a consultant on matters to do with education, what would you say about the enthusiasm in our learners, especially in the secondary school, to learn during the holidays? How do you
now
say?
It's just too low. Well, reason being, these people are set or have been conditioned into learning what to learn. They have not been given the knowledge and the understanding on how to learn, on how to learn. I'm saying the difference between what to learn and how. When they know how to learn, it becomes part of their life, and they will continue doing it. When it is about them what to learn, they will wait upon you to tell them, now learn
this.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is why you'll find if somebody is not following them, they keep books away.
Right. Now, let's change the gear a little bit and get out now out of the role of the student, and we go now to the role of the parent. We have said the scenario is that the child is out on holiday, so he's spending a good time with the parent at home. And then the question I want to pose is, what role does the parent have in the academic achievement in the child, and with a specific regard with what happens at home? Good.
With the interest of time, I may not go very far, but I would want to lay a foundation here.
Yes.
Students that succeed in school have one thing in common. Their parents have or exhibit some common behavior.
Which behavior is this?
I wanted to build a... Let me come to the behavior.
Yes.
Parents whose students succeed in school have this one behavior, number one. Habit number one. They have very high expectations on their children.
On their children.
Is number one. And in this, driven by the expectations, they prepare for that to happen. So they get themselves involved in their children learning. They also prepare for them to learn. In these, I mean, they take care of small things that people take for granted.
Do they set targets for them? Maybe.
Absenteeism being a major issue.
Yes.
Number two is the disconnect, the failure to connect with the teacher and the learner. Because when the teacher and the learner do not connect, I can assure you,
no learning will take place.
Enthusiasm, interest in what they are learning in school.
Yes.
So parents take care of that, ensuring that they lack no interest.
So I want us to go to the sitting room. The sitting room there. The parent is here. The child is here. He's on holiday. He's a secondary school student. Yes. What kind of a scenario, an environment should the parent cultivate to see to it that this learner, as we have discussed a few minutes ago, actually learns and continues learning over the holiday time?
I would want to say this, Mr. Kamau. Yes. These are teenagers. A student in high school is a teenager.
Yes.
These are people that really demand. I said I learned a consultancy called PACE, parenting. That now goes to part of parenting. Yes. What you are now asking me, we forgot to parenting.
Yes.
Let me put it a little bit clear here.
Yes.
My friend,
cause a lot of friction, a lot of resistance.
That will cause a lot of trouble.
Okay.
So what you need to inculcate in them is that desire and the willingness to learn.
Do you do that by placing demands on them? You must bring me an A in mathematics. You must bring me this in this. Do you go that route?
You take me back to what I said.
Yes.
Parents of a student that succeed in school have high expectations
on their
children.
Yes.
They do not demand. There's a very great difference between expecting and demanding.
True.
When you demand from, you're about to be frustrated because you may not get what you want. Yeah? But when you expect, you prepare for. Take for instance, when you invited me to this studio,
yes,
you prepared for my coming.
Yes.
You expected me to come.
Yes.
Your expectation is what led you into preparing for me. So a parent who has high expectation on their children, prepare for that.
Yes.
And success in school automatically comes. You know, but the difference here is majority of us demand, yeah, and they ask of what they want from their.
I think I've heard of this kind of an argument. I have paid all the fees.
Yes.
I've provided food at school. What's wrong with you? Why are you not? You know, that's kind of conversation.
It's a very funny.
And, what is the effect
I
of?
sympathize
Yes.
with the people that say so. Can I tell you something? Children have no contractual agreement with anybody to learn.
Wow.
They are not obliged to anybody to
So
learn.
it is their right to education, but they have no obligation to learn.
No, but the teacher has a contractual agreement with the employer. The parent has a contractual agreement with the government to provide for.
Yeah, they are the children.
Yes, but this guy just gets to school without an obligation or a contractual agreement with anybody.
True.
So that cause or brings the whole difference. You want to demand from somebody who is now in the classroom setup, not out of choice in the first place, but was taken there and has no contractual agreement to achieve something. So the only thing you can do here is to appeal to their conscience, is to appeal to their mind and create desire by reasons for them to succeed.
Fine, that's good. Now let's come back to the sitting room. I'm confining myself to the sitting room, that small domestic setting, where the parent is there and the learner is there. They need not be sharing the same room, but they're in constant touch. And we have the case of distraction. Distraction. These things.
Good.
These things are the kind of take away the focus and the concentration of the child.
Yes.
What law does the parent have to do?
Number one is to create an understanding of what the learner is doing is important.
Yes.
Not only to the learner, everybody. I mentioned something called out of school schedule.
Yes.
When it is time for them to do their revision, if they have nowhere else but within the sitting room to do it, everything else should stop during that time, including the house help in the kitchen, including the parent. In fact, for those I said that whose students are better in school, they have different characteristics or habits. If I am the one and my son is doing some work there, can I tell you something? I'll pick on a newspaper to read. All right? I'll switch off my phone, keep it away so that it doesn't distract him or me.
Okay.
And by my sitting next to him there, or just, you know,
also getting busy reading, even if you're reading a newspaper.
Busy, I'm sending one message to him.
Yes.
What you are doing is so important that I can even switch off my phone and I can stop everything else, be with you here.
Yes.
Even with my absence, everything, including the TV, everything else should be switched off. Their phones, because majority, almost 99% of our students in high school have phones now. They should learn, they should be taught how to set that time as apart for their own learning. And that will only come if the desire comes from them. Remember, I'm saying learning in high school is a choice. And actually their choice will beat every other thing. If they choose to learn,
they will learn.
They will learn. And that is what we should focus on, helping them to make the decision, to choose to learn, giving them reasons why they should learn. They should learn. But when we try to force it on them, I can assure you.
Or when we demand from them because we have invested in them.
We'll be doing nothing. And that is where we go wrong.
Fine.
You have even had parents looking for teachers for their students.
Yes.
For them, especially during this holiday. Let me just talk something more about that.
Yes.
Because it's so dangerous and parents don't really understand. Today, if you are my teacher, you've been with me for 1 year or so, or 1 or 2 terms.
Yes.
You really know me and understand me.
Yes.
We have gotten to a level where I can connect now. I know you are the way you pronounce, the way you look, the way you do things. I know your temperament and all this. We kind of connect.
Yes.
All right? So over the holiday, If my mother will go now and look for a teacher from
a different teacher,
different school,
yes,
because the teacher is known to be very good in that, the moment that teacher is brought to me, I will take time to connect
with that teacher, with a new teacher now,
with a new teacher, and I'll take time comparing and contrasting his way of doing things and approach with
and what you're used to,
my regular teacher.
Yes.
Now, this brings in this problem that will waste a lot of time. Number two, the teacher may not really understand where my problem is.
Yes.
Because my mathematics teacher will know what I did not understand, what topic I did not understand, and what's supposed to be done. So
are you therefore kind of discouraging that kind of idea of bringing in the third party?
It is the worst thing to do to a runner. It causes more confusion than help. Some people have said it has worked for them. But let me tell you, out of what I know and experience that I have in this, I can stand and say no. I believe no.
So how then does the parent help out the child?
Now what they should do,
yes,
they should be guided by their own
actual teachers in school.
In school.
Yes.
Then they come, and if there is any help, because maybe my son is in Mombasa and the teacher is in Mombasa and I'm in Nairobi, I'll need some help from somebody that is closer here. This person coming should really understand and know and be guided on what to do with me.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Now,
should be told that this person cannot work out on this and this kind of thing. And I know where he did not understand. It is on this level where I expect you to help on that level.
I want to bring in a slight...
For that matter, the parent should have been involved, therefore knows exactly or know exactly where the needs are, and the need to be addressed. But not a blanket thing. My son is poor in mathematics. My son is poor in chemistry. I understand you are a very good chemistry teacher.
Yes.
No. Because you might be doing what he knows. Yeah? You may be reminding him
what he already knows.
Because even that is poor in chemistry is not poor per se. Has some things that they know and they can remember.
True.
Yeah. So how do we establish the point to deal with?
Allow me to also bring in another dimension. We have this case of, we're talking about learning during the holidays. And I want to go beyond the formal learning. In that, when the child is off for holiday, and he is doing the revision, the assignment that has been given by the subject teacher, is there anything else that is not in the syllabus that he can learn at home?
Yes.
Domestic cures, duties outside in there, maybe some life skills.
Yes.
How do we bring them in? And
now, we go back to schedule.
Yes.
There has to be time, and I've always had time with my son to do other things other than running. Yes, I would hardly take my car to a car wash. When these guys are here, we shall get out and we wash.
Wash with them?
Yes.
And you pay them?
Yeah, and actually, I have always tried to avoid this. Because if I tell them I'll pay them for doing that, the motivation now to clean the car will be shifted now to earning other than learning. Yeah? Because I know and I believe, and this is for sure, these boys will own their own vehicles in the future.
Yes.
Definitely. They will.
Yes.
And therefore I should train them to take care of their own cars when they own them. So I'm giving them that. So what I was saying is that there has to be time for different things. Time even to go to the barber together. Sit down there, get your haircut and their haircut, and discuss about hairstyles and all these cleanliness and walk. Talk along the path as you go. If the barber shop is not very far away from you, take a walk. Go talking. You're kind of now,
bonding with your child and sharing the development with them.
Talk, listen to them, ask them questions. Yeah, because we sometimes try to hide our head under the sand and we assume that these boys and girls are so naive. Get to discuss even about their friends.
In your experience as a consultant, because you have said you do PACE, and PACE has parenting and something to do with it. Have you found yourself in a situation whereby the parents seems to be focusing too much on the academic at the expense of everything else?
Yes.
Have you seen a scenario, a situation whereby the parent says, "I've given you all the time to read. You should not even go to a shamba. You should not do this. Even the maids should not go assisting in the kitchen." Have you found a situation like that?
Yes.
And what are the dangers of any parent walking that path? both short-term and long-term.
Number one, that creates hatred.
Yes.
On education in the runner.
Yes.
They learn to hate it.
Why? I know they're being given time.
No.
Very neat.
It is if whatever you are given, if you are given that in excess.
Yes.
Everything that is in excess isn't good.
True.
Yeah, even if you give a kid sweet and give them lots of them, they will hate them.
Yes.
In fact, they say if you want somebody to hate something, give him
plenty.
Yeah, give it in plenty. If you know your kid loves sweet, give them so many. More often, they will hate them. So if you want your kid to hate learning, force them.
Make it their own business.
Yeah, make it their own business. That's a sure way of killing their learning. Yeah.
So then how do we bring this other?
I said you schedule.
You put it in the schedule.
Yes, there has to be a schedule. And this schedule, you sit down and agree with them. What do you want to do over the holiday? I want to visit my aunt. I want to watch this movie. I want to do this. Of course, you manage them all. Yeah. Then I want to do this. Then this is time for this. This is time for this. Of course, with the consequences.
Yes.
That if you do not do this, this will eat on.
Could you also have a scenario or a situation whereby the students themselves are not eager to do the other jobs, so they are finding for ways and means of learning away from learning about the domestic chaos, and therefore hiding under the academic work?
Yes, that happens.
How do you handle that?
If
How do you
from
deal
the
with
word
that?
go, it was meant to imply that is meant for some people.
Yeah, some other people,
Yes.
not them.
Yes, parents have made it appear like cleaning the house is meant for the house help. Yeah, and a house help is somebody with very low level of education and all this.
Yes.
And that perception is in them. They will never like it. They'll avoid it. They'll never want to make their beds. They'll never want to tidy their rooms.
Correct.
But they should be told that is for their own sake. Cleaning their room is for their own, it's their own advantage. So they should be taught that. Other than now forcing it on them.
Yes.
When you teach them and they get to know about it. And when I talk about teaching or training, it's not a one-day event.
No.
You have got to keep on doing it until it is now in them and becomes part of their life. And
We are winding down. We are coming to the end of the show. I would want you to summarize a few tips. 1-2 tips that you would want to advise the learner and the parent with a view to ensuring maximum achievement in education. And I advise you to address that camera.
Now, I want you as a learner to ask yourself this fundamental question. Why are you in school? Why did you go to school? I know you'll tell me you went to school to get education, but that is a half answer to my question. Education for what? I went to school to get education to become so-and-so, to become this and this. That is exactly what you need. You need to identify your reason for being in school. And when you get the reason, that is what will give you the power now to wake up early and do what is required of you to achieve your dream. You must have a reason for being in school. Now to the parent. That boy, that girl, that your daughter and your son, I want you to look at this son beyond his life within you. See him when he is out of your life, when he or she is on their own. What type of a father would you want your son to become? What type of a mother would you want your daughter to become? What type of a leader in the nation would you want to become? Share with them your dream. Share with them your vision. And let them know what you expect of them. Help them become what they were created to be.
Thank you very much. There you have it from an experienced consultant, a long-time teacher who has even the privilege of teaching outside Kenya and teaching other places. We will get to learn more. I will make him a regular guest in Education Matters. And Mr. Muraya, I'm proud of you. I'm sure we'll do more to make a difference and an impact as far as learning is concerned on Education Matters on Elimu TV.